Spina Bifida affects as many as 1 in 1,000 pregnancies.
This is our story. This is Bifida Blog. Hi.
Hi.
My name is Stuart and this is my lovely wife Louise, and we are expecting our second child called Nolo, who has been diagnosed with Spina Bifida at 20 weeks.
We're doing this blog as a record of his story, and hopefully it will help other people who may be going through similar things, and also it will help to keep our friends and family in the loop of what's happening on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely. We're really hoping that these blogs are useful to people. We intend to try and do them daily up until sort of the first month. There's going to be a lot going on for the first month of Nolo's life, and we just want to keep a record of it for everyone, and after that time we might go to weekly, maybe monthly, depending on who's interested and how often we can keep this up. So really we just want to put our opinions out there, how we're feeling. You might get a mixed bag. There'll be lots of videos of stuff going on. You'll get to meet Nolo when he does come out.
And it won't be Nolo then.
He won't be Nolo, yes. He'll be called something else. We just want you to be a part of it, so please let us know if you have any questions. Please comment on the video. We'd be more than happy to talk about it. That's why this is being done.
For those of you who don't know us, I'm Louise and this is my husband Stuart. We've been married for almost 6.5 years now. We already have one little girl, Heidi, who's coming up 4, she'll be 4 in April. She's really excited about being a big sister and meeting her little brother soon. She's very excited that it is now in fact January and only a matter of days until the planned induction.
Right, so let's move back to why we're actually here. It's all about this little boy called Nolo at the moment, whilst he's in the tummy anyway. So we're going to quickly go through our story about the pregnancy so far and conceiving as well, and that probably is a great place to start in terms of the conception.
Yeah, so when Heidi was probably just gone 2, we decided that we were ready for baby number 2. Took a bit longer than what we hoped, around about the year mark. Very up and down emotionally along that journey. But then I think it was May time we found out that we were pregnant at last. Yeah, which obviously, you know, we were thrilled, over the moon. We managed to keep it quiet from anybody until about 11 weeks and told Heidi first because we wanted her to be the first.
We couldn't keep things quiet if Heidi knew.
No,
so.
if Heidi knew, everybody would have known.
Yeah.
Everything was going along fine until about 7.5 weeks when I had some spotting, which obviously I was devastated, you know, waited so long for the baby and, you know, immediately you think, oh no, am I going to lose it? So we had an early pregnancy scan and we saw a little bean-shaped blob
Wasn't an awful lot.
with a heartbeat, which was obviously a huge relief. Like I say, we told Heidi around 11 weeks and she went round and told all our family, and then we went public soon after that.
Yep.
Then we had our 12-week scan, which was amazing. To go to the scan and Nola was literally jumping from side to side of my womb, bouncing back and forward, which was obviously a great sight to see after the scan.
To put it into context, when we had Heidi's 12-week scan, we didn't get any of that, did we?
No,
So
she was quite quiet.
she was a bit quiet,
Nolo
so it was nice to have some bit of
active.
movement in there, wasn't there?
Especially after, like I say, after the scare, it was quite emotional for me to see that, you know, the baby was
I think
fine.
Any sort of bleeding sort of makes you concerned.
Yeah.
Whether that's lots or little, and I would say that overnight, because we had to ring up the hospital and go in the day after. It doesn't sound like long, but that was a long...
I actually think it was a couple of days we had to wait for the actual scan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know it felt like an absolute
forever.
age, and when I look back, I think it was only like a day or so.
Yeah,
But you sort of hold your breath on it a little bit, and I guess that applies a bit later on in the story as well. And again, probably is not a bad time to sort of move on, because we mentioned about the 12-week scan. So at 20 weeks, we went up for our usual routine scan, and
excited as anything to be seeing our baby again. So we sat down in the waiting room, and they give you this piece of paper about what to expect at your 18 to 20 week anomaly scan. And I just remember reading down the bottom, for most women this is a happy time, but for some it's not. And I remember turning to you and saying, oh gosh, it never even crossed my mind that some women come to these scans and actually find out that something's not right with their baby, or something along those
again,
lines.
putting it into context, Heidi's pregnancy was fairly
straightforward.
straightforward. I don't think we had any issues.
It's a dream.
Yeah, I think it was what you'd call the dream pregnancy.
Yeah.
So I guess even so far with the spotting was very different to how we'd had it with Heidi.
You thought that was your little blip over with, so from there on in it was all going to be
issues.
plain sailing.
Yeah. So
how wrong were we?
Yeah. So we obviously went into the scan as usual, and I guess it started off as usual really.
Yeah.
No majors. Sonographer was very nice, very chatty.
Baby'd grown lots.
Yeah.
Looked great.
As far as we could see anyway.
To our naked eye.
And then it sort of just took a bit longer.
Yeah.
I think if we both think back on it, it just kept scanning, and I guess
she started to spend a lot more time scanning sort of like the head area. I remember thinking, oh, I'm sure it didn't take this long with Heidi.
Okay, yeah, from the experience, yeah.
We were in there, quite a while.
Yeah.
And then she said, oh, I'm having trouble viewing a part of your baby's brain. Could just be a poor view, which we had with Heidi. We had to go back for a rescan because of her position to get a different view of it another day. So I was just thinking, oh, just that again. We'll get to come back and see the baby again. Yeah. I guess it was only when she said, oh, I'm just going to go and get my colleague to come in and have a look.
It's usually the role key, isn't it?
And it was then really that the panic sort of set in. Oh no.
Both looking at each other going a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he came in and he couldn't find this part of the brain either. So she stopped scanning and then talked to us about not what it could mean or be a sign of, but just that they detected some
She was very quick not to tell us what it was.
Abnormalities, which she couldn't give us any information about what they would be, but she said if what she'd seen was right, then we should prepare ourselves for a severely handicapped baby, I think her terms were.
Amazing what you remember, isn't it? In terms of these exact words, what they say.
I remember those words ringed in my head for several days.
Yeah.
She then asked because she'd already asked us if we wanted to find out the sex, and we were like, oh no, we don't want to know. Yeah. Heidi was a surprise and we were just going to do it the same. So she said, has that changed whether you'd like to find out or not? And I don't know whether you were a bit sort of like taken back when I said, oh actually I'd really like to know.
I don't know, I guess we've been so stoutly
near
and never find out.
Are you sure?
So to actually go to finding out was a bit of a... but I mean, I think at the end we were both very quickly realised that it was probably going to be for the better.
I think we both sort of had an inclination as to what we were having as well. So to have that confirmed was maybe needed. Yeah,
again later on.
Yeah.
As we move on, which is probably again, if we move on to going, we had our meeting with Kay, who's up at the hospital.
Lovely lady.
And we arranged to go up to Bristol St Michael's Hospital, get that right? Yeah. For the initially we didn't know, but it was for the next day. Yeah. So we went up the next day to Bristol. Again, very nice team. and we had the scan, and I guess the results were very much the same. We'll talk a bit more about the actual sort of emotions and what actually went on a bit more in sort of one of the later ones, but to sort of summarise, the scan was very much the same as what we had the day before.
Very in depth.
Yeah, very
Took
in
a long
depth.
time.
Yeah, you sort of had to prepare yourself for a long scan, really.
Yeah.
Difficult to know how long it would take, but again, they sort of confirmed exactly what they had found at the...
Well, they actually gave us a proper diagnosis rather than just being vague about it.
Yeah, and I guess that's when it hit us.
Yeah, you kind of like, until then, you kind of still sort of like buried your head in the sand, like, oh, it'll be alright, probably just a duff scan, you know, we'll go up to Bristol and it won't be as bad as what they said it could be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it was that moment when reality sort of hit and you were like, actually, this is happening.
And I guess we were there for a good hour or so, just
mulling it.
Yeah, but like I say, we'll go into that a bit more a bit later. So we spent the rest of that day, we met up with the neurosurgeons down at the Children's Hospital, just talking about what the operation would be, what they sort of see from their side in terms of recovery and
outlook for his life, really.
Absolutely. So then we headed back after that. It was a long day, and we headed back with news that was life-changing, really, for all concerned, and we had to think carefully about it, and we did spend, I don't know, probably a week without really sort of...
I think so by the end of the week we knew which way we were going.
Yeah. So soon enough we sort of gave a good decision, and well, we did, clearly we decided to carry on, which I think
we'll talk about that.
Again, we'll leave that for a later one. So from that point onwards, really, it's been more scans.
Lots of
scans. A lot more than we would have had previously.
Which has been lovely, actually, being able to see him.
Being able to track the growth.
Stages along the way.
Yeah. On to what's going to happen. Well, we've been given a date for Louise to be induced, which is the 5th. So we're starting this blog a few days earlier. We're doing it from New Year, probably till the end of January. Since that time, we've had lots of support, of messages. I know Louise has been interacting a lot with people on Facebook in the special Spina Bifida groups that they have on there. We've been talking to Shine Charity a little bit about fundraising at this early point, and I think we're both of the idea that we can really make something really good happen from this, which is why we carried on. We felt that there's a really good purpose on this little boy, and we want to be able to share that with everyone that's been there and supported us from before now to supporting us now. From kind offers of just support, practical help, or even emotional help. There's been a lot of people that have helped us and have already been touched by his story and our story today, and we really hope that that continues.
Yeah, we just want to raise awareness for Spina Bifida, really. I think lots of people have heard about Spina Bifida, but lots of them, well, I didn't really know to the extent what it can mean. So if we can educate people as to what it
raise some awareness for that. Yeah, that's a really good goal. Okay, so we're going to leave it there for today. Tomorrow we're going to talk a bit more about, like I said, about the Spina Bifida itself and the specific issues for Nolo, and we're going to have a little quiz to sort of see who knows their Spina Bifida best. Probably going to be you, but as I'll probably be compiling the quiz, I'll know the answers, but hey ho. So we'll see you tomorrow, all hoping that we can get around to doing this on time. Please bear with us if we are a bit late getting these videos up. As you can probably imagine, it's a bit of a stressful time, but we really want to keep it up to date for you guys. As we've already mentioned, please support Shine and all the other charities that are listed on the credits. Links should be either on the credits, or I'll leave some links in the description. Anyhow, we will see you tomorrow. Bye. Bifida Blog.
Couldn't
Oh,
help
you
that.
moved too quickly!
Oh, did I?